All right, so what the fuck? It's 14th of November, 2020, the year that just won't fucking end. I'm all decked out in my COVID gear. I decided, you know what? I might as well take advantage of this. Anonymity and the ability to hide behind a mask is actually beneficial in a lot of ways. We'll just leave it at that. I think I'm going to join. I'm going to join that group. Sign me up. You'll regret it later. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not paying attention to the television. My poor ex-wife, Faps, April, she is. Oh my God. She's crazy to begin with. And, I mean, you know, I'm obviously wearing red, but she's like a little bit to the right of Hitler. Let's put it that way. And like old Uncle Adolf himself would go, God damn, girl, shit, tone it down. What the fuck is wrong with you? Right. So that's my ex-wife. And I'm trying to get her to not watch television because she's so goddamn crazy, or I couldn't get her off the phone last night. I'm like, I really don't want to talk about this. And then, you know, did you hear what they did in Michigan? I'm like, oh my God, it's got more. There's more. She's still talking. I don't care. I get it, I care, but I don't, not right now. Okay, you know, I'm plugged. Have to. Because I'll go fucking nuts too, just like she is. And, because I give a shit. I mean, I'm a little fucked up to begin with too, let's be honest, but I do give a shit. And it's disheartening. It's scary. Because when you truly understand what's going on, and like you can see like the fucking obvious, you know, predicament that the country's in and the direction that the left is going, which is, you know, half the country. It's a very powerful section, you know, of the fucking populace. With real powerful allies, the media and Hollywood and just all the rest. I mean, Jesus Christ, you know, and they're going just to the left of Stalin to make the, you know, circle complete. It's the circle of life. And it's just crazy. I mean, that's where we're at right now in America. Right now in America, it is 1929 Berlin, right? Circa 1930. It's just bad. The fucking economy's in the tank. There's all kinds of shit going on in the country that nobody understands. People ain't allowed to leave their houses or go to church, and most of them don't even understand why. And fucking, I'd be surprised if even a quarter of yins understand that they can't really do that, but they did. Everybody's scared, and the two extremes in the country have not only grown, they've not only recruited more people, like more people have gone batty fucking extreme, whether it be on the left or right, than ever before. And there's fighting in the streets, and there's riots, and for the most part, that's the people on the left. The media loves to try to, look, there's somebody with a Trump hat, he's carrying a pistol. I mean, oh, look at those two people standing out front of their own house with, like, you know, Izods on and fucking button downs and shit. You know, you saw that piece of tape about 1,000 fucking times. Two white people standing in front of their fucking front yard, like there's some kind of threat to democracy, right? But yeah, the left. I was thinking, these kids, because that's what they are. They're. I mean, I would be surprised if even 10% of the active left that's out there, you know, saying the things that they're saying and, you know, running around the streets and burning shit down and yelling at cops, calling them fascists, spitting in their face, that kind of shit. I would be surprised if even 10% of those people could, intelligently, describe for me what the left stands for and what it's, they're going to all say they're going to anti-racist and rich people suck. That's it. That's what they're going to say. And then they're going to come up with a bunch of shit that they've been told by other people because they're programmed. And that's, inaccurate. I was talking to this girl, I don't know if I posted this already, but I was talking to this girl, she's a senior in college. She's 22 years old. And we were talking about how bad she hates Trump. And the one debate where Trump had compared himself to Lincoln, and she said, I can't believe he compared himself to Lincoln, as if it wasn't bad enough that he is who he is, but he compares himself to one of the worst presidents. It was so bad, with all the terrible things that Lincoln did. And I said, well, what exactly do you mean? I didn't, I just asked her, give me an example. What do you mean? And here's what she said. Swear to God, I'm not making this. As a matter of fact, I have the text message on my phone. I can prove it. She said, well, first of all, he was forced. He was pressured into passing. That's what she said, passing. He was pressured into passing the Emancipation Proclamation by the unions. I figured, okay, she misspoke. It slipped out. And she went on and she said, because he didn't want to pass the Emancipation Proclamation, it was the unions that made him do it. So that was charge number one. Charge number two was that he raped his slaves. So we'll just leave that, or I'll just, leave that there for you. And charge number three was a quote out of some New York paper. One of the fucking editorial guys said, they were all, it was 1862 and the whole North was going crazy. They had instituted the draft. You had these casualties, 30% casualties in some of these battles, 15, 20, 25,000 people dying in one day. If shit like that happened these days, this country would come to a screeching fucking halt. It wouldn't know what to do. But it was bad, and the South was kicking our ass. And the northern papers were going, make peace. What are you doing, Lincoln? Make peace. You're only doing this because you're a radical abolitionist, and it's not worth it. It's not worth what that for that one issue. It is not worth destroying this country. You can feel however you want to about that, but they were making a sound argument. You have to refute that argument with some facts and some intelligence. Anyway, Lincoln wrote back to this one and said, I would accept the South back into the Union, slaves intact, if that's what I needed to do, if that's what I had to do to preserve the Union. I would accept the South back in without slavery or with some sort of middle ground compromise. I really don't care. My job is to preserve the Union, so I'm not going to make peace now because it's too late. They won't make a peace with us at this point that's going to preserve the Union because they have the upper hand. And if I made peace right now, it would lead to two separate countries, and that would be disastrous. Because Lincoln was a genius. He was way smarter than these newspaper guys and everybody else. And he understood he could see into the future, and he knew that two countries, a North and South United States, Confederate United States, was like the worst possible thing that could happen. And so that's where she pulled this quote, and she just said the one part. He said that he would have ended the war, that he would have brought this, she said the little quote, the little snippet, that I would bring the South back in, slaves intact, if I had to. And those were her 3 condemnations of Abraham Lincoln. And you know what? I really was, and I shouldn't be at this point, but I was a little stunned. I mean, I was a little like, wow. I mean, I've heard a lot of dumb, fucking, untrue, just unbelievable shit coming from kids. You know, it's called kids, I say kids. People in their 20s that go to college and should know better at this point, a little. But this one was, whew, they just keep getting farther and farther out there. So I said, look, I don't know who told you that, but that's all patently false, and it's easily provable that it's false. A simple search on some historical records. Wikipedia. You ain't even got to go far, sweetheart. Wikipedia. If you're, which you are, you got to go a little bit past YouTube. But Wikipedia will do, and it'll tell you that all 3 of those things are just simply not true. Just not even, there's not even like a shred of truth to it. Because even the quote that you could say there's some truth, because he actually said, is taken so far out of context as to change the meaning of what he said, and therefore it is a lie. It is a bold-faced 100% untruth. So, anyway, and I told her why. I pointed it all out there. I was like, first of all, he never owned slaves, so it's hard to rape a slave that you didn't own. Let me just say that. It's the easiest way to, I'm not going to go into the whole, like, how much of an abolitionist he was. The fact that his father moved him out of fucking Kentucky, right, and into Illinois because he couldn't compete, and he despised slavery in his own way. But Lincoln despised slavery, despised it. Spoke for years as both a congressman in the House of Representatives and in his state legislature against slavery. Debated, what's his name, Johnson or whatever the fuck, the guy that ran against him. Fat guy, not that bright. Debated him a couple of times about it. Jesus Christ, they've written thousands and thousands of books, made dozens of movies, documentaries. Holy fuck, watch Ken Burns and that's enough. That's a college course. As far as these kids are concerned, Ken Burns would be a doctorate in history for these motherfuckers by comparison. And that's who's out in the street burning shit down the street and jumping up and down going, America's racist. That's who they are. That's who they are. That's who 90% of them are. And the other 10% who may know a little are still clearly and obviously either misguided or doing this shit on purpose. Lying. They know what they're doing. They want to overthrow the system. Those are the true Marxists and the true postmodernists that, without having any clue of anything that even has a remote possibility of working to put in its place, want to dissolve the society and the government that we currently live under. Without, like I said, without any, you ask them, what are you gonna, universal health care and global, that's what they say. That's what they say, which are problems, and you're just enumerating more problems. That's not a solution to anything. You just said more problems. Healthcare is a human right. No, it's not. They don't even know what a human right is. Seriously, and everybody needs to push back on this stuff. People that know what they're talking about. I mean, really hard, like in person. You run into somebody, they say, like with this girl, I was polite, I was nice, I didn't make fun of her, I didn't belittle her, I didn't talk down to her, I wasn't patronizing. I stated fast, I said, look, those things are just false, and easily proven to be false. I don't know who told you that stuff, but, and here you go, here's some Wikipedia. Go to Wikipedia, honey. It's really, I'm telling you, if you really care about this, like you're saying this stuff, so apparently you have some interest in it. Just do it. Do a fucking quick web search. Check your shit. Check yourself. I think you're going to find out really quickly and easily that that's not only wrong, but fucking insane. So yeah. The rest of them, the 90, they're out there running around because they want to. They want to run around. Come on. Don't you remember being 20? I'd do it too. Shit, I'd do it now. Fuck. I want to run around the streets and spit in cops' faces, call them fascists, and burn shit down, and loot the fucking stores. That sounds like a good goddamn time to me. All right? Granted, I'm like, fucked up Generation X, fucking recovering drug addict, criminal record and all that shit. How the hell I ever ended up this far into the right? Yeah, you're wondering. I don't know either. But, I get it. That's why they're doing it, though. They're not doing it because they believe in something. They're not doing it because they're patriots. They're not doing it because they're, social justice or Black Lives or none of that shit. They're doing it because it's fucking fun and they've got way too much testosterone and everything else running through their veins. And that's what all their friends are doing. That's what, it's just like, it's not hard to understand. It's just not. I mean, fuck, I'm telling you, for a fact, if my buddies, when I was 20, said, hey, rather than go down to Cedar Creek Park and get fucked up, let's go drive into the city with these other 4,000 or 5,000 people where the cops ain't fucking with nobody and burn some shit down. I'd have been like, hell yeah, let's fucking, I'll drive. Where are we? So, it's a tangled web. It's hard to figure out. It starts to get them when they're young. But I mean, it's so late now. It's so late in the game as far as the culture is concerned that I don't know if it can be brought back. Trump's done a good job of pointing out some shit. But he barely scratched the surface really with the power base and the structure of it. I mean, basically shined the light on it. And yeah, he took some pretty good whacks at it, but believe me, it's, 4 more years might have helped. But I think it might be too late. So we're just gonna have to ride this one out. Ride this motherfucker out. Brakes are broke, flying down the track, flames coming out of the wheels, bridges out and shit, like Professor Brown. Put some more bananas in the flux capacitor. We're not gonna make it. Anyway.